Okay, I just want to talk about life. Um, uh, okay, um, so people talk about like all the time. They talk about what happens to them when they die. What happens to us when we die? And there's only two answers for that. You either go to heaven and hell, or hell. That's one answer. And the second answer is reincarnation. So you might be wondering, oh, well, how do I know which one's the correct one? Well, that's what I'm gonna talk about today. Um, that's my question too. Is like what's gonna happen when we die? Are we gonna be reincarnated, or are we gonna go to heaven, or what's are we gonna be with God, or what's the next step? And so I've seen that both possibilities can happen, not simultaneously, but what I've seen is that it's either one or the other. Um, can't be both, so it wouldn't make sense. Because how could you reincarnate in heaven, or how could you reincarnate and go to heaven, or like, hold on, how could you how could you reincarnate and go to heaven, right? And how could you go to heaven and reincarnate? Like that's just not possible. It's not right. It doesn't happen. So that's my video today. Is I'm gonna be explaining to you my life. Just explaining that topic, what I just said, those two answers, those two questions, those two things, whether it's God or the universe or God. So um, yeah, I've seen both in my life. I've seen reincarnation, and I've also seen heaven. Um, but I'm not like any different than you are. I'm not special. I'm not like, oh, magical. I feel magical all the time. Or no, I've seen these things like in visions and in dreams, and yeah, I so first I think what I first experienced. Well, when I was young, I'm just gonna talk about a little bit about my life. When I was young, like I'm still young, but when I was like in my teens, like 12, or I don't know exactly what age I was, but I know I was very young, and I was on YouTube on the phone, and I was just looking at videos, and I came across like this video about the universe, and and how like we are the universe, and how like in the future there's like a possibility that our dreams will become a reality, but so will our nightmares. But what I'm talking about is it's like a singularity. it was a video on it was by John Garrett or Garrett John, and and it was like we are from the future. Like you can look it up on YouTube, you'll find it. That was like one of the first videos I seen about like enlightenment and all that. But I also ran into Alan Watts. I'm sure most of you have heard of him, maybe, but if not, it's okay. But he's a like a philosopher, like a modern philosopher, and yeah, I learned a lot about him. But there was one night where I felt like I don't know, like I felt I don't know if it was because of videos I was watching or whatever, but I felt like enlightened, you know? Like a video brought me enlightenment. I felt, I don't know, I felt a little bit more alive for those moments. And I was just so young, I was just a kid, but I can't explain it, but it was a good feeling. And back then I didn't really know about God, but I remember as a kid I would pray to God. Um because my family where I grew up, they prayed. We prayed every night before we went to bed, and I still remember the prayers. And but yeah, but then that happened when I was like such a kid, and then later on in life, when I'm like in my 20s now, um, I had a dream. I had a dream about uh, it was about it was me, and I was in the future, but it wasn't a dream. Like it didn't like this was the first time and the only time in my life where I felt like I was in the dream, like where I was like somewhere else, like I was just I don't know, it was just so real. It felt so real. And I never had that experience ever in my life, and I never had one ever since, but I was dreaming, and and I woke up in this hospital, and I had to go pee like really bad. And I remember I like peed somewhere in the hospital, but there was people there walking, and and uh and yeah, I like somehow I ended up outside of the hospital. Like I was like trying to escape. Like I was self-aware in my dream. Like I was like I didn't know I was dreaming, but I was like I was like okay, I got to get out of here. And I got out, and I ended up in like this like parking lot kind of, and there was like cameras everywhere. It was the nighttime, but I was on Earth. I was here on Earth. This was the dream was on Earth. Um, but I was a girl, and I was like, what the hell's going on, But later on in the dream, like I was like driving a car, like I had money and I had a nice car. It was fast. It's like a sports car or something like that, like a luxury car, like a high end. And the last thing I remember about that dream was that I ended up like in front of a police station, and I was like high as hell, drunk as hell, just laughing, and I could see myself from a third person point of view. And I was a girl, I was a white girl. I was a beautiful white girl. I was like had like brown hair. I was just smiling, and I was like looking at myself, but I was in third person and I was looking at me, and so that dream happened, and it was clear to me. It was clear that that was reincarnation. Like I experienced reincarnation. Like I didn't actually experience reincarnation in life, but I experienced it in a dream. Like I said, the dream didn't feel like a dream. It was it just it was so weird. But it just felt real, and I couldn't deny it. I was like, yeah, like that's something, you know. And so yeah, that happened. Um, and when it first happened, I didn't really think too much of it, but later on, I well now I'm like thinking more about it, but yeah, that happened. Then I had another experience, and this is heaven. This is heaven, guys. Like, uh, I just it was very quick the glimpse I had into heaven, and it happened in Mexico. Um, I was just I don't know how it happened, but I just saw something. Like I saw like a vision. Like I had a vision, and I saw myself. Well, before I get there, let me tell you another story. But this goes with the story of heaven. There's this one night I was at the beach, and I was by myself. I was at this bonfire, and it was so weird because random people were just like coming up to me, and they were like, I don't know, I don't know what they were, but well, I mean they were people obviously, but hold on, I'm getting a video phone call. All right, so where was I? Um, oh yeah, I was at the beach, and there was like random people coming up to me. I remember there's this one guy who like kept on talking and talking and talking. Like he was talking about like everything. Like I remember he was talking about like the sun, the moon, and he was going in deep. And I was like, what the hell? But I was paying attention to him. Um, I was paying attention to him, and I like kind of remember that I took that in. I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of interesting. He was like, I was like, I didn't really fully understand it, but he was like, he was just talking there, and he was with someone else, like a friend. And yeah, just random people were like coming up to me, and they were just there. So yeah, but um, well, that's not the end of it. There was this guy who came up with this lady. The bonfire was at, and I was all alone, like I said. Um, and there was this guy. He came up to me, and he was this white guy, and there's this white lady. And I looked at him and I told him, I'm you. Like I wasn't on any drugs or anything or nothing like that, but it just came out of me. I was like, I'm you. Like I told him that. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? Then I thought in my head, I was like, dude, is this me from the future? um, and at first I thought it was, you know, and then I started crying because I thought some things. I was like, dude, like this is me from the future, and I'm just like, but but yeah, he was like, he told me to be a man, and I was like, okay, like I didn't really get it. I don't know why he said that, but that's all he told me, you know. And and the lady, she was there, and I was trying to talk to her, but she was like turned around, and I don't know, she was like doing her own thing. But yeah, that guy was just sat down on the sand where the bonfire was, and he was just kind of looking at me, and I was looking at him, and then I decided to leave. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go back home. And before I left, and this is gonna sound crazy, guys, and you don't have to believe me, but this is my story, guys. This is what God, the universe has shown me, you know. Um, so I looked at him before I left. Like I was walking away and I turned around and looked at him and I saw that he had a shadow over his eyes. This was in the nighttime, but I don't know, like it wasn't normal. Well, it wasn't. It was just I don't know. I don't want to say it was the night, you know, because I saw that, you know. but I saw like he had a shadow over his eyes. And for a second, I told God in my head, I told him, I want that. I want what he has. And it was just a thought, like just one thought that crosses your mind. I was just like, I want that. I left home that day. And later on in life, um, that's when I go to Mexico. Uh, that's when I get my vision, and I wasn't on any drugs or nothing. This was an actual vision. Um, I went to Mexico and I had a vision, and it was me in heaven. It was me in heaven, and I had no eyes, no mouth. But you know what was coming out of my eyes and my mouth? Darkness, guys. So God showed me that, He's like, look, I listened to you. I saw that thought, and this is you in the future. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the two halves of it. The two sides of the same coin is that one side is reincarnation and the other side is heaven. So that's the question. That's my big question. That's my whole life, is that right there, is what's the truth? Am I going to go to heaven, or am I going to be reincarnated back here on earth, That's my big question. The big question. And so yeah, like um yeah, I experienced those two things. Not It was like, maybe it wasn't all at the same time. It was just one happened at one time and the other at another. But yeah, it's interesting. I think um I'm blessed. What's the other word? I'm a god, you know. The reincarnation side is I'm a god, and the Bible side, the heavenly side, the religious side, the heaven side is I'm saved, But I don't know which one is gonna happen, But I saw the future twice. Twice, guys. I saw the future twice. I saw the future here on earth, reincarnated, where there's no God, and I saw the future in heaven where there is a God. So I'm blessed, guys. I'm thankful. The universe is on my side, or God is on my side. He is, or she is. But yeah, I think both stories are very, like, a big part of my life. Like, just these things happen to me, and I'm nobody. I'm not an angel. I'm not a demon. but but it's very interesting how like something out there is like watching over me. Something out there is conscious and is intelligent and knows that I'm somebody, that I'm not just a waste, So yeah, I'm gonna say this little bit part more. And this happened in both stories, but there was one person in both stories other than me, and it was my friend. This guy I met in Mexico. I met him down there, and I don't know why he was there, you know, but he was there sitting next to me in heaven, and he was there also when I was a girl, when I was reincarnated. He was in that dream. He was standing on the rooftop in the dream of the hospital, and he was like leading me out of there, like because I was like stuck in this like fence place, had like cameras and everything. I was outside, and he was like pointing, and he helped me out. He helped me get out. Oh yeah, my friend is a guy, by the way. And yeah, and I saw him in heaven. He was sitting right next to me, and he was just. We were both laughing in heaven. That's what we were doing in heaven. We were both laughing, and I'm like, damn, like. So I'm kind of more lean toward the religious side, the God side, just because he was there in both of them, and because he's like, even though we're not like close friends, and some would even say that we're not even friends at all, cause but we kind of are. Um, but I say that because like I mean we did hung out, and we did things together, but it was like I don't know, guys, but he was there like both times in my dream and in the vision. So yeah, he will always be there, and I will always be there, laughing, laughing at what life throws at us, because that's what we are. We're me and him are we're pretty much gods. But I don't, like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not really any different than you. I just say we're gods because I don't know, because it's cool. It's cool, and those experiences were cool. Um, and it's just like, why not? Why can't I say it? I can say it. I can say I'm cool because I seen it. um, because I seen that I get to live and he gets to live either way. But yeah, like that's everyone's question nowadays is where the hell do we go? What the hell is the answer? Everyone wants answers. Like what's going on, or what's where are we gonna end up? Because no one really knows. And we're always asking that question. But now you have a little insight onto that answer, that question. I mean, is you have a little bit of more knowledge on reincarnation and heaven. So yeah, I think that's gonna do the video. Um, I don't know what else to talk about. Excuse me. Oh, and I don't even know if we can vape on YouTube. But I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna look it up actually before I post it, and if I can, well then you won't see this video. But if I can, then you'll see this video. Yeah, guys, I'm God. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. I'm not God, guys. I'm just I'm just lucky, blessed. I guess those are the words. So yeah. Peace out, guys.